Whether you have a drive to lower your handicap or simply want to take a swing at it, golf is a game for everyone.
It gives you the opportunity to exercise, be outside, fresh air, good scenery, and hopefully play the golf game with the mindset of enjoyment.
If you're an avid golfer in New England, chances are you've walked the links on a course designed and built by George Sargent.
What makes a good golf course is a golf course that has no bad golf holes.
George Sargent's passion for golf began when he was about 12 years old, when he became a caddy. He then turned it into a lifetime career.
I went to school at UMass to become a golf course superintendent. Graduated from UMass in 1975, and my first job was at the North Conway Country Club.
We caught up with George at his most recent project, Montcalm Golf Club in Enfield. The name says it all. A mountain that promotes tranquility and a sense of calm. A private 18-hole club that boasts stunning views of the Connecticut River Valley. But before this, the land looked like this. George Sargent helped change that.
This parcel at this golf course was all wooded. As you can see, the trees around here. And in New England, we deal with, as you see when you come up the driveway on this golf course, the ledge outcroppings. And so this one was one of the more difficult ones to design.
It begins with the property. No two land parcels are alike, and George gets a feel for what he envisions by walking a lot.
I examine the contours and the constraints that are relevant that I can see. We develop a base plan that allows us to understand where on that base plan was I standing and I thought that golf hole should be here.
The modern-day golf game is believed to have originated in Scotland. The old course at St. Andrews is known as the home of golf, the oldest course in the world. In New Hampshire, one of the oldest courses is located at the Mount Washington Hotel. This 18-hole course was originally designed and built by Donald Ross. He was a Scottish golf course designer who created courses everywhere, and George Sargent's late partner's father worked with Donald Ross.
Part of his tutelage, Phil Wogan's tutelage to me, goes back to the Ross era and the Donald Ross era. You know, what makes a good golf course, you know, how to design things with the proper spacing, what kind of engineering requirements, and so on, to be a good architect.
Montcalm's rolling hills are perfectly groomed. The course is at an elevation of more than 1,600 feet. It took 4 years to build, 6 months of blasting to clear this land. Leftover rock was repurposed to create this stone wall.
I think what makes a good hole is something right away that's visually exciting. You know, you have the bunkering just right. You have a downhill hole or an uphill hole that just sort of invites you to get a visceral feeling about that golf hole.
Golfers hitting a bucket of balls have incredible views of Whaleback Mountain and the Green Mountains. On a clear day, you can spot Killington.
When we do a golf course, we usually have 7 to 8 different layouts that maybe can work. And we actually had some golf holes going down that way initially, but it always sort of, you know, cried out to be, well, that could be the practice facility. That would be one of the coolest looking practice facilities in New England, and I think it is.
Montcalm's pro, Steve Rogers, offered to give me a few much-needed tips while I was there. Even if I duffed it, this view would make up for it.
Not a bad start. Not a bad start.
At least it made it past the flowers.
A few adjustments, and Steve had me aiming for Whaleback.
Focus on that red stake, and anytime you're ready, just let her go. Yeah, well done, good.
Just about an hour southeast from Montcalm, the WMUR Golf and Country Club in Tilton.
It's a country club for blue-collar people. I like to believe in that because I'm a blue-collar guy.
Owner Jerry Chalet opened in 1992. With just 17 acres, he created a 10-hole course. As he added more land, George helped transform WMUR into the premier 18-hole course in 1997.
Field of Dreams? Yeah, Kevin Costa, Field of Dreams. You build it, they will come. The only trouble is his was instant. Mine's taken about 25, 26 years to get there.
What do you like best about this particular course?
I think what I like about it is that he's always strived to have the best maintenance that he can have.
So whether you routinely hit an eagle, or if you're in the triple bogey category, for golf architects like George Sargent, every project offers a chance to create a course that challenges and rewards golf enthusiasts.
If you hit a good shot into a green, then, you know, and it's reasonably good, you should be able to have more rewards than punishment. And if you hit it a little off, you should have more room to recover, hit a recovery shot, and maybe make a putt and still make the par. So I think that's a good golf hole. They need to enjoy the surroundings and where they are. You know, they're on a golf course that's maintained to the highest degree that it can be. And now there's more things that we're doing as architects to try to get more people interested in that.